Tell me when you hit the button.
It's all right. I already hit it.
Howdy campers.
So my house follows me with yet another trip. Part of the way through, we didn't vlog at all yesterday. Kind of an interesting trip down here, but relatively uneventful. And then last night hit. We seem to have all of our bad luck in the nighttime, and specifically when it comes to huge fronts of weather coming through.
Right.
So it's a beautiful campground. It's more kind of rustic than we're used to. Normally we are like resort type campers, but we're slowly moving out of our comfort zone.
Oh, I prefer the way the surroundings of this campground. It reminds me of, if anybody knows Lake Tahoe, it reminds me of Lake Tahoe, where I spent a lot of my summers when I was younger. And this is the tall trees and the yummy smell of the tree smell and the fresh air. I'm loving it here, except Gino will continue and tell you what happened to us last night.
So last night,
scared the crap out of
about
us.
11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, somewhere around there, we just moving around in the trailer, doing whatever we do, and probably the loudest bang I think I've ever heard in my life.
Along with the wind that it started.
Yeah.
Because we had to rush in.
Coming.
We had a fire going outside. To back up a little bit.
Yeah.
We were just sitting down to a fire, and very dark clouds, but we didn't
Camera's heavy.
We didn't think it was gonna rain, but then it came, this huge gust of wind. Sounded like it was an impending doom on us, and along with the rain. So we rushed inside, got settled, dried off, and then
that's
boom.
when the bang hit. It sounded like you know those scary movies when like a poltergeist hits the house and makes the whole house shake. That's kind of what we felt last night.
Yeah, whatever it was, definitely made some kind of a mark on the camper. We were pretty sure of that.
Well, I have some video that I'll put in an insert here so you can see what damage was done. But basically, you should know that this is a piece of what hit our camper last night, and actually put a huge divot.
Oh, that'd make a good piece of firewood. Anyway,
put a huge divot in the roof in 2 or 3 places, and actually punctured the PVC roofing material that we have. So last night, in the middle of all that wind, and luckily it wasn't raining, but in the middle of all that wind, I was out on the roof at 11 o'clock at night using some roof patch material that I had. To fix and hopefully keep from leaking any rain that we thought might be coming.
we've only got a 1-year-old camper, so it's a little difficult to.
It hurts.
It hurt. It hurt the camper. It hurt us. But then I said to Gino, "This is what owning a camp. This is camper life. This is what happens to your camper." So
it's kind of like
eventually.
It's like driving a new car into a parking lot and a shopping cart goes smashing into it.
Totally.
It's really nothing you can do about it. It's kind of
cry.
What happens, and then you fix it or deal with it the best you can, and you kind of move on. That's where we're at right now. This morning, a couple other things. As we were opening the slide last night, the vent cover for the air conditioner that sits directly over the slide when the slide out is pulled in, the vent cover was just missing. And we couldn't figure out for the life of us where it had gone off to, and then this morning it finally dawned on us that it's probably on top of the slide. outside, and that's exactly where we found it. We also found one of the strings for the blinds had broken. We knew that was going to happen eventually, and it did. So I fixed that. And
That's boring. All that last stuff is just not for him because he had to fix it, but
it's boring for you.
Yeah,
okay, good.
for them.
Oh.
Boring for them. But now we
forgot.
sit outside and it is absolutely no humidity, low humidity, sunshine. Birds are singing. It is such. It's probably what, 65? Yeah,
Somewhere around
65. So we're loving it right now, and we're hoping it stays like this. But we understand bad weather's supposed to come in again. But we'll enjoy this while we have it,
Yep.
and you guys, we'll talk to you later.
Enjoy our trip.
Enjoy our trip, right?
So this trip we didn't use conventional firewood, or we didn't buy any of the campground firewood. We came across a alternative. Problem with where we normally camp, which is New England, Northeast, is, and I'm not sure if it's this way with other parts of the country, from what I've seen people responding on Instagram, it isn't, but at least in New England, it's hard to even bring from one region of Connecticut to another region in Connecticut because of the insects that live in those regions. Campgrounds don't want you to do it, allegedly, because if the EPA finds out that they're the source of whatever new insect there is in that area, the EPA will come in and cut down all of the trees in that campground, which is concerning to most campground owners. So last spring, we came across a company that makes these biobricks. I'll put the link in the description. And we used them for the first time this trip. So basically, if you can see, they come in kind of packs of 24 of these bricks. It's basically chipped pallets that they put into a hydraulic press and compress. So this probably weighs about a pound. So each one of these things weighs 25 pounds. So yeah, they work good. You have to burn them a little differently than you would normally burn campground wood. You have to make a chimney out of these basically, otherwise they just kind of sit there and smolder. But we got a pretty good fire. I have some video that I took of it. It's good enough to sit around and enjoy a campfire. You can cook s'mores. Pretty much anything that you would do with a normal campfire, except these are about $7 for 24, which gets you a good, I would say, 4 hours of campfire burn time, which with the campground stuff that you get, you know, if you spent $7 for a little package of logs that they give you, you'd be using 2 or maybe 3 of those things. So it's definitely cost effective. The other nice thing about it is if you don't burn it all, you can take it home and use it for the next trip. And it doesn't take up a lot of space. You can see in my truck, there's hardly any space to use there at all. In fact, I probably brought brought more than I should have for this trip. The only two negatives are if it gets wet, it basically disintegrates into a big pile of pulpy wood chips. I guess you could still burn those. They dry out. The second negative is that there is no crackle, pop, snapping sounds that you normally get in normal campfire wood because of the moisture in it. There is no moisture in this at all. So it's a quiet fire. You get fire, you get a ton of infrared heat. So it does all of the things that it would normally do, except doesn't make any noise. But we give it thumbs up. These are actually made in Connecticut, so it's easy for me to get it. I don't know if any of you have access to a distributor around the nation from wherever you're watching this video. But definitely a thumbs up from My House Follows Me. Walking Cooper again in the rain because, you know, that's what we do. Anyway, it's a nice campground. Very rural, not very resortish, which is fine. They just cater too much to seasonal. Too much seasonal. And even the seasonal, when they build these massive porch systems on them, unless they upkeep them, looks like a shanty town. So it's a nice place. Maybe not for us, but that's kind of the mode we're in right now. Just trying new places, seeing what parts of the region we like to stay in, and that's where we stay. And keep switching it up like that every trip, except for Pine Acres. Always back to Pine Acres. Day outside, so Janet and I found a new place to hike. From the looks of it, I don't see anyone else hiking here. We went to the closest Walmart Supercenter and we're just walking around. But so far it's a pretty good hike. Really level. I would say easy terrain. So right now I'm trying to catch up to Janet because I needed a rest. And she hiked up in front of me. So I think I finally came around. Yeah, here she is. Whew, I can't believe I caught up to you. I was so worried. We were hiking here in Walmart instead of outside today because the weather is really bad.
Yes, we're in Walmart.
Now we're in the olive section of the hiking
Gino,
trail.
Please, you're not recording that we're in the olives.
I am. There'll probably be more hiking later. Yep.
Reduce sodium almost.
Perfect for hiking.
We're out of here. Another trip in the books. On our way home, we stopped at a rest stop. I love to stop at these things just because we can. We just had lunch. And in the camper. We're in the camper.
Everything is fully accessible without the slides being put out, so we can have lunch in here, use the toilet, that kind of stuff, and don't have to step foot in the restroom at all, ever.
Or restaurant.
or a restaurant. Pretty good trip, even though we had
thought it was
a
really
lot of stuff break this time.
Oh my God. Very restful. Very, very relaxing. No stressors, except for...
You know, the big puncture marks in the roof. But
oh boy.
it's fixed. It's not leaking, because we proved that out yesterday. It pretty much rained for 24 hours.
All day, all day
straight.
long yesterday.
So on our way home, we'll videotape some cool stuff if we come across it. But thanks again for watching, and make sure you give us a thumbs up on the video if you liked it, and subscribe and click on the little bell button so you get notified whenever we upload one of these masterpieces of technology.
Please follow us.
Thanks again.
Subscribe. Yes. Thank you.